have the ultimate flex meal plan. Yeah, it's a good meal plan. I mean, I've been here for 3 years, so I'm a little tired of the food. My favorite place so far is the sushi place. Yeah, I really like the sushi. Least favorite, Hasbro. Yeah, I don't like that. And then Oscars too. I don't really like Oscars that much. Yeah, I mean, as a freshman, you're only limited to that meal plan. I mean, I know it was from Sodexo that makes it, but I don't know exactly where it comes from. No. Honestly, I would like a change in campus food. I feel like we need to have more variety and better healthy options. I feel like this food is not good for us. Different types of servings of food, or either bringing a different company that brings in different food. Sodexo actually, I don't feel like Sodexo has a variety of food. Yeah.
Flex.
And do you like that dining room?
Absolutely. I'm not a Hasbro person. I've been favoring the Roost lately because of their lounge at the top. No, I do not. Well, I know some of it comes from certain farms on campus because they advertise that. Given that I usually go early in the day for times such as this, pretty okay.
And do you have any complaints about the food or the service on campus?
Absolutely not. Especially the staff here with Jerry at the register and this guy working over here, no complaints at all.
On the 7 swipes, I like it. I mean, I wish I had less Hasbrook because Hasbrook kind of sucks. Because Hasbrook, I don't know, it's just after a while the food is not that great, and just like there's a good variety of food, but I mean I don't know how to explain it. There's just not enough entrees, I guess. Probably the sub, probably at maybe Nestor's, somewhere over there. Usually, yeah. The sub and Oscar's usually pretty good. It's usually not that bad. I don't. Sodexo, yeah, I do. Especially like vegetables and stuff and fruits locally. More fruit. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I don't think you really need that much customer service for college kids, like with Hasbrook and stuff. But yeah, I mean, the Crazy Bowls are good.
Mostly, I go to the food court, the sub. It depends. For lunch, that's where I go, and depending on what I feel like eating, I'll get a salad or a soup or a sub. You know, it's food court food, right? So like I don't really have high expectations going in necessarily. So it's fine. Like the subs compared to Subway, you know, there may be. You know, they all a little slightly different offering, but it's mostly the kind of same stuff. Seem pretty nice, you know, on the whole, fairly friendly. You know, occasionally the certain people will remember who you are. You know, working with a smile. You know, there are a couple people in particular who are like almost maniacally smiling all the time, right? And super friendly. I should know that. That's a good question, and I don't know where Sodexo sources their food. There are little signs up saying that we use locally sourced meat, I think, for like their chicken and stuff. So I didn't have noticed things like that. No, I don't always eat. You know, I try and bring my own lunch. Say when I work. To be honest, nothing has stood out one way or the other in terms of overwhelmingly negative or overwhelmingly positive. And if anything, this food court could be worse, let me put it that way. But I suppose things could all be better too.
So sustainable agriculture is a method of farming the land and getting produce from the land without at the same time destroying it. My name is Bailey Golan and I'm in my junior year. So Students for Sustainable Agriculture Club got founded, I guess, 7 years ago when they first started to do the farmers markets, and they realized that the local community and local produce should be more represented on the campus. So what we do now is we like to do farm visits every semester, basically go around to the farm, show the students that there is that community out there, and just help them for a day on the weekend. And we like to hold, sometimes we screen movies, you know, different documentaries that are relevant, and really just try to spread awareness as a club. It's important to eat local, first and foremost, because your food isn't being trucked in from miles away. So a lot of the produce we get, a third of it is probably from California, and then the rest out of America. And so to eat local is to really eat so that your ecological footprint doesn't spread, you know, miles. So a big part is just so that we eat more whole and real foods, not processed foods that can last a long time on the shelves, and food that's just around you and that you can go get really easily. Campus garden is, I think, really cool and unique. I don't know a lot of other SUNYs with like a dedicated site. The campus garden, basically it's completely student run. The school doesn't really help us work it. They provided us with a shed, but we really use our student power to upkeep the garden. In the past we've grown several herbs, vegetables, like we had broccoli in here, we had tomatoes over the summer and legumes. And eventually we hope, if we get enough support by the school, to, you know, support some of the food on campus, like things that we could do really easily and show students how to do easily. But that's just another process, going through like contracts and deals that the school has with outside vendors. We pretty much hit roadblocks at a lot of the places, such as we used to have a fence here. It was like a wire fence. Over the summer when the students left, the school took it down, and so we had to build our own fence. We had a wire fence and they took it down. So basically what we have now are just the posts and string, which might be a problem because there could be animals that come here and eat whatever we grow in the garden. So over the summer they shut off the faucet over there, which we use to water the produce, and so they shut it off. So we tried to bring some water back here in one of our cars, and like we got stopped by UPD, and then we can't upkeep this garden that they let us have if they don't let us bring what we require to use for the garden. And so it's a process of working with the school and getting their help. But now we're recognized on the campus map, so that's a good start. I think the meal plan is just, it's hard because when you're a freshman, if you stay on campus, you are required to use a meal plan. And because it's sourced by one vendor, and it's a global vendor. Like Sodexo produces food for prisons and old people's homes and hospitals. So they're supposed to supply food on a large scale, which makes it hard to keep the food diverse and keep it local and keep it really healthy. And so I think one of the biggest problems is that there's not many options for the students. There's, you know, a lot of fast foods, and I've heard a lot of complaints by students that there's not enough vegetarian options and vegans options, and that's just one of the hardships that you'll have with such a large company. I don't think it's fresh, generally, but we're raising more awareness about that to the people in charge, and they know that that's a factor that students want. Like, everyone should have access to fresh food, especially when you're contracted to have this food. You know, Coke is a vendor. They have a long contract with Coke, and they provide the food in the vending machines. They provide the drinks, except water now. And with Coke, you're only going to get a limited amount of food that you can get because they own just so many products. And so it's definitely not fresh. Coke, you know, imports their foods. They drive it a long distance. So it really is a disadvantage to the students that they can't have that access to fresh food. And
I was taking classes. A friend of mine was the manager downstairs, and they were short 5 people. So he had me come in and work. And then he left, and so we ran downstairs for a year, and then I switched up here. Overall, it's been decent. You know, some good, some bad, some ugly, but overall, it's been good. It's a wide variety. Usually, it's good. But there's always the sour apples, or people will have different issues. And a lot of times they don't bring it to me directly. They're talking to each other as they pass me a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I hear, you know, a lot of the information that, you know, I get.
And do you personally eat the food in this dining room?
Yes.
And do you like it?
For the most part. You know what I'm saying? It really There's a lot of good stuff that comes out, but you know, not everything is perfect. Well, we have a company that supplies a lot of the stuff that we have, but we also have a person that works with all the local companies, you know, so they deliver locally. I am so tired of listening and hearing about laxatives being in our food. I would say that when people really think about that, they have to realize that we eat the same exact food that you do as well. Now, if I wouldn't put laxative in my food, now let's say maybe I would put it in yours. Look at how we get our food. Every single person who works here stands right on line with you, either in front of you or behind you. You know what I'm saying? And so we're taking the same stuff that you're taking. So there's no way, you know, that would happen. When I graduated, they were talking about there was laxatives in the food. It's just one of the major New Paltz urban legends. You know, so that's about it.
Absolutely. It's been good. I'm a diabetic, so being in the union and really helps me because, you know, I get tremendous benefits. That's really important to me. Making pizza, making dough, cleanliness, making sure the customers are happy. Absolutely 100%. The sauce and cheese are obviously not fresh. We serve over, what, how many people are on campus? Close to 5,000 a day, so everything can't be super fresh, but our dough is fresh.
Are the vegetables fresh as well?
Oh yeah, the vegetables are definitely fresh.
Do they come in frozen or do they come in?
No, the vegetables come in right from, it used to be Robin's, I forget what it's called now. The chicken's not frozen. I believe the sausage might be a little frozen. Pepperoni comes in frozen. Other than that, nothing else is frozen. Food could come a little bit faster. You could have a little more quicker, but for pizza, so it's not that slow. I see other places have lines. You know, I don't like to see lines when I work. Do I know where Cisco gets their food from? No.
Located in Highland, New York. We're a wholesale produce distribution company, and I've been in business for 26 years. We sell a full line of fresh produce. We distribute dried beans, grains, and flours for Wild Hive distributors. And we sell cage-free eggs. And we do some distribution for Winter Sun Farms. From day one, we tried to bring a relationship between the farms and the end users, which are restaurants, schools, and we've branched out from there. We started with 2 employees. We have 31 people working here now. We run 9 trucks, 7 days a week. I became a Sodexo vendor in 2009, or I received my vendor number rather for Sodexo in 2009, and we are a woman-owned company in New York State, registered as such. Well, the trends are obviously more and more local. We try to make it buy all our produce within a 75-mile radius. I firmly believe that local vendors are people that keep their money in the local community. I think that's what distinguishes a local vendor from a non-local vendor. Well, I think there's a general feeling that local produce is more money. We see it being a little more money from time to time, but overall, it's It's very close to price-wise to non-local produce. It's better, and it gets to your table a lot quicker. Pretty far range. We go from here all the way down to the New York City line. We're out in Connecticut. We're north to Hudson. So I think the trend's only growing.
Could you please begin by stating your name and how long you've been at Sodexo?
My name is Ryan Goodwin, and I've been here a month.
Okay, so you're fairly new to the position. What is your job title? What are your responsibilities, and how did you get this job?
My job title is General Manager. Job duties is overseeing all food service operations on campus, board dining, retail dining, catering, and anything that pertains to that, vending, all that stuff. I got this is a promotion for me. I started 8 years ago in Sodexo in Boston, and then I went to RPI about 3 years ago and was the operations director there. And then in November, I was promoted to this position.
Since you've been at New Paltz, what responses from students and faculty have you observed in relationship to food quality of service, and options offered?
It's a wide range. Some of the faculty like some of the additions that we have, the salad toss and the sub, some of the items in Starbucks and things like that. Students, they vary. Some students don't say anything. Some students are very local. They'd like to see more local, more things grown in the area, which is kind of tough now because it's the winter time, but or healthier options and things like that. So that I'm used to, that I'm aware of, that I've gone through before and know how to handle those things. I've seen those things myself, walking through the campus and the units for about a month now. So it varies, it really does. It varies from day to day. Some people don't like what we do, and some people love what we do. Some people stay on the meal plan for 4 years. Some people leave after the first year and move off campus. It's just really up to the user and their preferences.
So Mike and I have been going around and interviewing students and asking them the question I basically just asked you. And the overwhelming feedback that we hear, like there are mixed reviews like you said, but it seems to be that there's a strong resentment towards Hasbrook. And because as a freshmen are forced to be on the meal plan that uses Hasbrook,
Right.
Is there anything that can be done to change the meal plan around for freshmen?
Well, the meal plan, I don't know about freshmen. Trust me, I can't tell you yes or no on that. But we are looking at meal plans in general and how they're structured. Whether it's more dining dollars where you can have freedom to go wherever you want to go, because there is more retail locations on campus than dining locations. Really, it's just Hasbrook. So in the next couple of months, we're going to look at that and see what the right plans are for this campus. We do have new venues opening up that are more retail, full licensed Starbucks, Element 93, which is sort of upscale Panera Bread type location where you order and you get a buzzer and all that stuff, but that's all retail. Hasbrook is tough. It's one building that houses a lot of people. I know on the weekends it's very, very busy. There's lines everywhere and stuff. So I am looking at the food. It really starts with the food and the customer service to make everybody's experience a little bit better as they move along from freshman to sophomore and stuff. But it's tough. You really, the design that you have out there needs to change. You have 3 large sole-standing units in the middle of the dining hall. That's taking away from the seating area, which is comfort, which is neighborhoods that we like to call it. The seating itself is not what it should be. It should be more booths and high tops and low tops and sort of have your own environments all over. So we are looking at all that stuff. I can't give you a day or even a timeline because construction on this campus is like snail space.
Yeah.
I think Worcester building is taking 5 years to progress on. So That part of the process I'm worried about. The things I can fix, like the food and the food quality and the customer service and the cleanliness, that's my mission every day, is to try to raise that bar.
You know, in interviews with students, a lot of them are saying we want more fresh food. We want
Right.
food that's local, like you mentioned.
Right.
There are local distributors. We've met with one of them, and they have since been dropped from Sodexo, and they used to provide 6 days a week to Sioux New Falls. So we're wondering why they were dropped when they are less than 15 miles away and can provide a whole variety of organic and local foods.
I have no knowledge of this, you know, as being new.
Yes.
You know, it is tough. We don't live in an area where we can grow year-round. We can get certain amounts of chicken and beef in certain locations. The volume that we use on a daily basis is tough to find. You have to find more of a middle person that is working with all these farms. I don't know the name of this place, and we can get that information later, but I've done the program before with a company up near Buffalo that gets meats and vegetables throughout the year, freezes stuff and sends them to me. It's a good idea. It's tough. It's really tough. We feed anywhere from 16 to 2,000 meals a day in this location alone, and then we have all the other locations. So sourcing all that product is tough. It's easy in the summer, but nobody's here in the summer. So do we get all the stuff? Do we freeze it? Do we take up the space? And all that sort of stuff. We're looking at a company called Freight Farms, and what they do is they bring in a shipping container, and we bring it onto location, and we can grow herbs, we can grow lettuces on campus. It's a new venture with a company in Boston. And basically it's an old shipping container that they retrofit and make it an all-season growing location.
Is there any timeline for that right now, or is it just in the beginning
This
phases?
is infant. I just had a call on Thursday with the gentleman, and it's at UMass Dartmouth, it's at Worcester State, it's in there, and it is on colleges in the area, so it's doable. The process is it has to go through CAS and then it has to go through the board for approval, but we want to do it, fiscally and morally it's the right thing to do, I think. I get a lot of push from, students that want to have a garden on campus.
Do you know that we actually do have a garden on campus?
Right.
And with the garden on campus, like it is seasonal, like you said, it all relates to that, but, herbs are grown, fresh vegetables, root vegetables are grown, and have you or has anyone else ever mentioned the possibility of utilizing the garden?
No.
Okay.
I kind of was under the impression that it wasn't running fully, and I obviously don't know about it, so it's, I would use it where I could use it. If there's stuff in it, it's quality stuff coming out of it.
Students for Sustainable Agriculture runs that garden, and when I spoke with them, they have emphasized they really would love to eventually provide for the school. Obviously, they can't provide for the whole school, but doing whatever they can, they definitely want to have a relationship with the school.
There's a school in Amherst. I went to a food systems conference in Amherst. There's a school outside of Amherst that they're an agricultural school, and all they do is just provide potatoes for the school. And that alone is great. That's a great story to have. So if we grow basil, or we grow tarragon, or we grow, any herbs that we use in the dining hall, that's a good story to tell. So if they want to come to me and talk to me, that's fine.
I think they have gone to CATS several times.
Yeah.
And CATS just kind of has rejected the idea.
Yeah. Well, I'm not aware of that. So, like with a lot of things here, I'm new. And
Yeah, I actually didn't realize
I'm like
that.
very green, and students they sit on the one of the boards I sit on.
Yeah, right.
We go over all the problems on campus. So I'm open for it. I want to do stuff like that. I'm very big on knowing where your food comes from. It is very important, not only to myself, but to you guys as students. You're at a very critical age in your life. This is where you learn a lot of your eating habits. And if you ever haven't before, then you're an adult and you're on your own, and you should be knowing where your food comes from. So we buy all the stuff we get is from local vendors. We're not like getting stuff shipped across the country. We get stuff from Albany, New York, 3 times a week. We have produce that comes locally every day. So we are trying to reduce our carbon footprint. We're getting stuff. We're not trying to get stuff from Central America all the time and ship it over here. So.
What distance does local span? Because I know that Sodexo, the school, gets some of their produce from Brooklyn, which is 250 miles away, which many wouldn't consider local.
That is actually the definition of local. If you put yourself and you draw a circle, 250 miles, that's local. That actually brings you into Jersey, some places too. So there is no real definition. I mean, it's such a gray area right now. People say local, people say locally sourced, locally manufactured. There's terminology that you gotta sort of weed through and figure out where it's actually coming from. But generally it's 250 miles.
Okay. And just curious, do you eat the food on campus? Do you eat at Hasbrook or any other dining location?
I eat everywhere. I mean, that's my responsibility. Usually every meal I go out and do a line check, which is walk down line and critique everybody's work. That's my responsibility. It's the responsibility of Max and Alton, who are the managers here at Hasbrook.
Do you like the food here?
Most days it's good. The guys in the kitchen, the ladies in the kitchen, they work very hard every day. It's some of them, they're not chefs. I'll put it that way. They've worked very hard their whole life as cooks and as line cooks, and then they've worked their way up here. And this is what they're gonna do. And they work very hard when they're here, and they put in 100% effort. But we're not eating at a 4-star restaurant. So the food here is good. We've changed a lot. We're going to change even more in the spring semester. We really got to step it up. That's just across the board. So we got all the surveys back from the students. That was one of the things that they were very big on, was variety and quality.
And with the comment board right here in what's the process that goes into that, into reviewing the comments? Or who reviews the comments?
Usually Alton does. He's the manager here. He'll get the comments, he'll read through them, and if it's something like really, severe, then it's brought to Max and my attention. But if it's like, hey, we want grapes, then he'll answer that. And then he'll talk to the chef. If it's something we can do, we'll definitely try to do it.